Hey, welcome to a new series of videos entitled Charlie's Changes and Challenges. I know with living, we all will undergo changes and challenges. You can insert your name instead of my name. I just want to be vulnerable with these videos. A lot of times on social media, we portray lives that are very appealing and almost perfect. I think the last short I posted was my son, graduating from a top 10 law school and having a nice job at a corporate law firm. But I did not, of course, I could not relate to you all the challenges that he had while he completed his law school degree. The sleepless nights, maybe even the times where he wanted to give up. With that being said, anything worth accomplishing, you're going to have challenges, but we don't advertise those. With aging, there's challenges that come with aging. My father died at 63. I'm now 59, but he told me, son, as a piece of advice, whatever you do, don't live to grow old. But he didn't give me alternatives. He really didn't explain what he meant. He didn't tell me what he was dealing with. And he ended up dying of some type of stomach cancer, and I think prostate, and then alcoholism contributed over the years, and just wasn't open with me as far as what he was dealing with. And he was remarried, and his new wife would not communicate to me what he was dealing with either, so I was kind of left in the dark. I don't want to be that way. I want to communicate my frailties. I am 59. I'll be 60 next year. There are things that come with aging. I'm not 20 years old anymore. I can't do the things that I used to do. But oftentimes, again, we portray ourselves as doing quite well. Well, some days I'm just not. Some days with my left hip osteoarthritis, it hurts. It's not to the degree, I don't think, that I need a total hip replacement or I would get one. There are days that are pretty good sometimes. When the bad days start to get more numerous and it reaches a point where I can't, perform my daily activities, then certainly I will address it. But in the meantime, I try to do things to alleviate the pain, not taking medication, but exercise and a movement, lubricating the joint, strengthening my glute muscles, those kinds of things that we can be proactive with. What are you dealing with? What changes and challenges are you keeping to yourself? Now, certain things we're going to keep to ourselves because we want to maintain some privacy. I understand that, but the more we can share, I think, and be vulnerable on this journey called life, the more we can possibly help someone else. I wish older people would share their journey with the younger people. And even if you share it, it doesn't mean they would listen, right? I remember some older relatives of mine sharing the fact that they were dealing with arthritis, and sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's brought on by diet. There's a lot of contributing factors, right, that can make the inflammation worse. But those are things we deal with, and we have to find a way to deal with it that works for us. Now, even if they shared that with me when I was younger, maybe I didn't want to listen because I'm young and healthy, and I did not see why older people develop aches and pains until I got there. And now I see that sometimes it just happens. Now, on the other side of that, there's some very healthy 60-year-olds, 70 and 80-year-olds who move quite well, probably better than I do on some days. But the goal is to accept things you can't change, right? I mean, radically accept them. Some things are just coming our way that we cannot change. Why do we hide those things, but instead, promote those things that are very good and we want people to know about? I want this to be dedicated to saying, yes, some days I'm not doing well. Some days I made the wrong decision. I woke up with, plans, and as most days, they don't go as you thought, right? You start out with this agenda, and most of the time it does not play out like you wanted it to. But that's life also. Why aren't we sharing these issues on this journey called life with others? I think social media gives us that ability to say, look, we can corporately share our problems that we're dealing with in addition to our successes and joys. Weep with those who weep, rejoice with those who rejoice. I don't think we weep enough with those who weep, who are dealing with challenges that they'll never be able to, articulate. The older woman who's taking care of her husband who has dementia, and she has had 2 hip replacements, and they have a huge house with an upstairs that no one has visited for 6 months because they're not healthy enough. And now they have to downsize. What about those who are dealing with issues like that? These are the people I want to attract to this channel to say, yes, you have a forum to express how you're feeling, because I'm going to do the same. I'm going to show you my vulnerability. Something that's very difficult for me, having a background in law enforcement and where you had to have some privacy and you really didn't show vulnerabilities. I'm trying to counteract that to say, with this next stage of my life, I want to experience all emotions and stop hiding and suppressing them, because those emotions stay stuck in my body and they could contribute to my arthritis or even other health issues, because I'm not processing the pain. And even dealing with grief, as I do, these seminars or facilitate grief discussions at retirement communities. I'm thankful for the communities that are giving me an opportunity to facilitate these discussions, because I'm finding that the participants are very welcoming to me, because they say, you're giving us an opportunity to express how we really feel. It's not all roses and basket weaving and all these activities. Part of our existence is dealing with loved ones who we've lost, and also aging to the point where the friends we used to be able to call, all of them are deceased now. And we're basically sometimes the only ones left, and we know we are here to die. And just giving them an opportunity, not in a depressed way, but in a real way, to say, this is part of who I am on this journey called life. This is what this channel is dedicated to, just being real. It's not for everyone. I get that, and I'm not trying to attract bunches of followers. I just want a core group that says, yes, we understand. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to express how we feel. Even if just listening to me helps. I can't speak for your issue, but I can give this forum to say, I want to provide an example, especially as an end-of-life doula, to say this is how, or one way to confront not only death, but dying, which can even be more intimidating, the dying process, as we deal with the fact that we're not who we used to be. Our body is starting to deteriorate, which is normal. If you age long enough, it will happen at some point. So let's not be so quick to celebrate excellent health, because that can be taken away from you tomorrow. Certainly rejoice in the fact that you are in as good a shape as you are today, but realize that could change tomorrow. Again, this is a forum for us to just explore these topics related to death and dying. I hope you'll stay tuned as we just show our vulnerabilities. Thanks. Appreciate you listening. Talk to you soon.